Now it's time for the last word. It could take months, if not years, for Ontario voters to decide if they're sorry or not sorry to have elected Maverick Doug Ford as Premier. He's a man of few syllables, a short attention to detail that limits briefing notes to napkin-length summaries, and he delivers a speech, even with teleprompter help, with all the polish of Donald Trump reading Shakespeare. But he's the overwhelming Ontario voters' choice, and nobody has the right to declare them wrong until proven otherwise. Even so, Doug Ford's disruptor philosophy will send aftershocks far beyond Ontario. He turned the concept of a winning campaign on its ear and, in the process, lobbed more than a few stink bombs towards the federal election less than 500 days away. His campaign proved that when the drive to dump the incumbent and all things status quo goes visceral with the voters, there's no need for a lot of campaign substance. A fully costed platform, well, that becomes just a distraction. Promises can be unleashed without a blueprint for implementation. A media bus with tag-along reporter trouble represents a dispensable nuisance. And a court-launched family feud, which raised a lot of pertinent questions about the leader, can bomb the campaign trail and not leave a dent in his support. Voters in Ontario had a single-minded fixation on sending Kathleen Wynne into history as the resignation-forced Liberal leader of what is now an unofficial party that's been reduced to the ragtag rubble of 7 political dwarfs. So it was mission accomplished last night, and that made the considerable risks inherent in a Ford majority tolerable to the usually safe-playing Ontarians. On the federal scene, there's cause for reflection, if not concern, in every camp. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau now faces a polar opposite politician leading the nation's second-largest government. The federal carbon pricing plan has lost its biggest ally. Trudeau's social agendas were marginalized and displaced by talk of things like cheap beer and lower hydro bills. And there's mounting evidence that Trudeau's deficit-generating ways are no longer sunny to debt-weary voters. For Conservative leader Andrew Scheer, what appears encouraging is really a right-leaning philosophy that's on probation. If Ford goes rogue and turtles in polling popularity, Ontario voters might yet boomerang back to the mushy middle leadership of Trudeau in 2019. As for NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, well, the election was a warning that voters are increasingly tolerant of political incorrectness and will embrace a force of bombastic personality over the extreme sensitivity that Singh personifies. The rise of Ford Nation over so many obstacles was a seminal and seismic electoral event in and beyond Ontario. Every party and every leader in Canada ignores the strategy behind that result at their political peril.